Hey friends, and welcome back to Learn English Podcast Every Day. I'm so glad you're here, settling in with me for another quiet moment of learning. Here, we don't just study English, we discover it together through stories, through reflections, and through gentle conversations about things that truly matter. It's a space designed to feel calm and inviting. A place where you can slowly absorb new words and ideas, letting them sink in at your own pace. My hope is that each episode feels like a soft whisper, helping your English grow day by day, word by word. If this episode, or any episode, helps you feel a little more confident, a little more comfortable with your English today, I'd love it so much if you like this episode, subscribe to the podcast, or perhaps even left a kind comment. Your support means the world, and it helps more wonderful learners like you find our quiet corner of the internet. Thank you for being here. Now, get comfortable. Maybe pour some tea, or find that soft blanket you love. Let's just settle in for a moment. Because today, we're going to gently open up a conversation about something that touches almost every aspect of our lives. Something we all think about, dream about, and perhaps even worry about. It's about money and happiness. Have you ever found yourself thinking, if only I had a little more money, then I'd truly be happy? I know I certainly have. For a long time, I carried this quiet belief that financial freedom was the ultimate key to a life without worries, a life filled with pure joy. I imagined a version of myself where every problem would simply melt away with enough zeros in my bank account. But over the years, through different experiences, and by simply observing the world around me, I've come to realize that the truth about money and happiness is far more intricate, more delicate, and beautifully complicated than that simple equation. It's not a straight line from one to the other, is it? I've seen people with immense wealth who still seem to carry a deep sense of unease, and I've met others with very little who radiated an incredible, genuine contentment. This made me wonder, what is the real connection here? What does true richness actually look like? So, in this quiet moment together, we're going to explore this profound question. We'll gently peel back the layers of our perceptions and feelings about money and about what truly brings us lasting happiness. It's not about finding one definitive answer, but rather about reflecting on our own experiences and understanding this universal human pursuit a little bit better. Let's begin. As we gently explore the idea of money and happiness, I thought it might be helpful to quietly introduce a few words and phrases that can help us talk about these feelings and experiences. Remember, there's no pressure here. Just a calm moment to listen and maybe repeat. The first phrase I want to share is financial security. Imagine feeling a gentle sense of peace about your money, knowing you have enough for your needs and perhaps a little extra for life's unexpected moments. That's financial security. It's not about being incredibly rich, but about feeling safe and calm concerning your money. For example, after years of saving, she finally felt a sense of financial security, which brought her great peace of mind. Can you say financial security? Another word we might hear when discussing wealth is affluence. This word describes having a lot of money, property, or a high standard of living. It suggests a state of wealth and abundance. You might say, his family lived in great affluence, surrounded by beautiful things. Or, she often wondered if affluence truly brought lasting happiness. Let's try that one slowly. Affluence. Now, shifting to happiness, one beautiful word is contentment. Contentment is a quiet feeling of happiness and satisfaction, a deep sense of being okay with things as they are without needing more. It's a peaceful inner state. Think of a quiet evening at home, feeling perfectly happy with a cup of tea and a good book. That's contentment. Even with simple things, she found deep contentment in her daily life. Can you feel the word as you say it? Contentment. Closely related to happiness is the idea of well-being. This is a broader term, meaning the state of being comfortable, healthy, and happy. It covers not just our physical health, but also our mental and emotional health. It's about feeling good in all aspects of our lives. He believed that true wealth included not just money, but also a strong sense of personal well-being. Let's try to say well-being. Sometimes, when we talk about money, we think about how we spend it or how we save it. A useful word for someone who is careful with money and avoids waste is frugal. Being frugal means being thrifty, smart about not spending too much, and using resources wisely. It's not about being poor, but about making conscious choices with your money. For instance, she was very frugal and always looked for ways to save money, not because she had to, but because she valued simplicity. Can you say frugal? And then there are the things we own. We call these material possessions. These are the physical things that we buy and own: our clothes, our cars, our homes, our gadgets. Sometimes we think these things will bring us happiness. He realized that accumulating more material possessions didn't fill the void he felt inside. Let's try that phrase. Material possessions. Finally, a word that often comes up in discussions about true happiness, no matter the money situation, is gratitude. Gratitude is the quality of being thankful, a readiness to show appreciation for what you have and to return kindness. It's about appreciating the small things, the big things, and everything in between. Practicing daily gratitude helped her appreciate the simple joys of life, even when money was tight. Let's gently say gratitude. These words, financial security, affluence, contentment, well-being, frugal, material possessions, and gratitude, can help us express our thoughts and feelings about this fascinating connection between money and happiness. Now, let's gently shift our focus to how we might talk about possibilities and dreams, especially when we consider this connection between money and happiness. Sometimes we find ourselves imagining different scenarios, don't we? Like, what if things were different? Or, if I had this, then that would happen. This kind of thinking often uses what we call conditional sentences. Today, I'd like us to just quietly notice the second conditional, which helps us talk about things that are imaginary or unlikely in the present or future. It's like daydreaming a little. We often use if plus a past simple verb and then would plus the base form of a verb. For example, when we think about money, we might reflect, if I had more money, I would spend more time with my family. Notice how had is in the past simple, even though we're talking about an imaginary present or future. And then would spend describes the imaginary result. It's a gentle way to express a wish or a hypothetical situation. It's not about making these things happen, but just about exploring the thoughts. For instance, sometimes I think, if I didn't have to worry about bills, I would travel to some quiet, peaceful place in nature just to listen to the birds. Here, didn't have to worry is our past simple, and would travel is the outcome. It allows us to imagine a different kind of freedom. Or perhaps thinking about happiness, we might say, if I could find more contentment in simple things, I wouldn't always feel the need for more material possessions. In this sentence, could find is our past form, indicating a hypothetical ability, and wouldn't always feel expresses the imaginary absence of a feeling. It's a quiet reflection on what true happiness might look like. These conditional sentences help us explore not just external circumstances, but also our inner world and desires. They let us dream, reflect, and consider different paths without any pressure. So next time you find yourself wondering, what if? Listen to how you're forming those thoughts. You might be using a conditional sentence without even realizing it. Now that we've explored the idea of conditional sentences and how they let us quietly reflect on different possibilities, let's gently bring all these thoughts together. This part is just for you to practice, to softly whisper some of these new words and ideas to yourself, or even just in your mind. It's a moment to connect the English language with your own feelings. I'm going to share a few sentences, and I invite you, if you feel comfortable, to slowly repeat them after me. Don't worry about perfection. Just let the words gently flow from your lips or through your thoughts. We'll use some of the vocabulary we've talked about and our lovely second conditional. Here's the first one. Listen closely and then try to repeat it with me. If I focused more on inner contentment, I wouldn't need so many material possessions. Pause for listener to repeat. If I focused more on inner contentment, I wouldn't need so many material possessions. Doesn't that feel interesting to say? It helps us really think about what inner contentment means to us, and perhaps what we truly value beyond material possessions. Let's try another one, imagining a world where financial worries fade away. If I had complete financial security, I would dedicate more time to my well-being. Pause for listener to repeat. If I had complete financial security, I would dedicate more time to my well-being. Notice how that sentence connects financial security with well-being. It's a gentle reminder that money, when we think of it hypothetically, often serves a purpose beyond just buying things. It can buy us time or freedom to pursue our deeper needs. And one more, touching on the idea of genuine prosperity. If true prosperity meant having meaningful relationships, I would invest all my energy there. Pause for listener to repeat. If true prosperity meant having meaningful relationships, I would invest all my energy there. This sentence invites us to redefine prosperity for ourselves, doesn't it? It shifts our focus from simply what we own to how we connect with others and how we choose to spend our most precious resource, our energy. Now, I want to offer you a moment for your own quiet reflection using these ideas. There's no right or wrong answer, just your thoughts in English. You can say your answers aloud, or just think them in your mind, or even write them down in a journal after the podcast ends. This is your personal practice space. First question for you to ponder. What if you could find complete fulfillment in your current life without needing more money? How would you feel, and what would your days look like? Take a quiet moment to imagine. If you found complete fulfillment exactly where you are, without requiring more money, what would truly change for you? How would your feelings shift? Next, let's gently consider this. If you weren't concerned about material possessions at all, what kind of simple joys would you pursue? Where would your energy go? Perhaps you would spend more time in nature, or learn a new skill, or simply enjoy quiet moments with loved ones. What simple joys truly call to you? And finally, thinking about true well-being. If your genuine well-being was your only goal, what changes would you make in your daily routine, starting today? It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? What small, gentle shifts would bring you closer to that feeling of complete well-being? These questions are like little doorways into your own thoughts and feelings. Don't feel any pressure to answer them perfectly. The act of thinking in English, of forming these thoughts, even if just to yourself, is a wonderful step in your learning journey. It helps the language feel more personal, more deeply connected to who you are. You can always come back to these questions later, perhaps writing down your answers in a journal. Journaling in English is such a calm and effective way to practice, letting you express your thoughts at your own pace. Just let the words flow. As we gently bring our time together to a close today, I hope these reflections have offered you a quiet space to think, not just about English, but about what truly enriches your life. We started by wondering about the connection between money and happiness, didn't we? And perhaps, as we've explored words like inner contentment and material possessions, we've come to see that true riches often lie beyond what we can hold in our hands. Remember our thought about true prosperity, meaning having meaningful relationships? It's a beautiful idea, isn't it? That sometimes the greatest wealth we can gather isn't in a bank account, but in the warmth of human connection or the quiet joy of personal well-being. This journey of learning English, like the journey of life, isn't always about speed or perfection. It's about gentle growth, about understanding new perspectives, and about connecting with yourself and the world in a deeper way. If this episode helped you feel a little more confident in your English today, or if it simply offered you a calm moment in your day, I would be so grateful if you considered sharing it with someone else who is also learning. A simple share can truly make a difference. Until next time, please take good care of yourself and keep learning gently day by day.